Hello, so we're going to be doing a tutorial on an iPhone XS Max screen replacement. So obviously, as you can see, the screen is quite damaged. It's got a light on the actual screen itself. It's got the purple line and it's got a few cracks. So it does have a screen protector which you can peel off. Just to show you the extent of the cracks in the actual screen itself. Just got a few chips in the corner and a big chip up there. So we're just gonna replace that screen. So first off, you'll need a few tools. So let's go through the list. First tool you'll need is an iSesamo, just a thin metal tool just to get into all the gaps and get the screen off. You'll need some sharp pointy tweezers just to get all the little cables up. You can use a spudger, which is pretty much to get up your connectors without using any metal tools or anything like that. It's quite handy for that. You need the tri-ring screwdriver, which is a 3-sided screwdriver. You need your pentalip screwdriver for the 2 bottom screws at the bottom of the device. And then you'll need your Phillips screwdriver for pretty much all the other screws. Also a handy thing to have is your tray. Just kind of put some screws in there just so all the screws that come out the phone get put into order and go back exactly the same way. So we'll move this all out the way and we'll get the repair started. So first off, we need to open up the device. So generally, best thing to do is to turn off the device as well. So we'll turn off the device and then we'll open it up. So it's got the 2 screws at the bottom. So they are quite long screws, but take out both of them. With these, the screws actually screw into the frame itself. So the reason why I'm taking my time in getting these screws out is because they all are more likely to strip. So generally, the slower you go and the more pressure you put on it will stop them from stripping. So there we go. So it's the 2 screws out without stripping them. And then we'll open up the device. So we'll get the iSesamo for that one. And we'll start at the bottom of the device. And you kind of go in, these do go in a little bit further, and they do have a thicker frame than your standard iPhone 6s and 7s or 8s. So you just kind of need to go in a little bit deeper, but still don't, when you go in deep, but try not to get too much of the screen underneath it. Right, and we're just pretty much going in around and breaking up all the adhesive so the screen comes out nice and easily. Obviously, if you're trying to do it without breaking the screen itself, if the screen's not broken, you want to try and be as careful and as gentle as possible. I'll just turn on the device by pressing on the power button, but we'll turn that off again in a second. So the top part is probably the part you have to be the most gentle with, because obviously it's got the front camera sitting right there, so you want to be careful about that. I'll just quickly turn this back off. So you got the front camera right there, so you want to try not to go in too far and try not to hit the front camera. But once you get it, you can kind of open it up, and it opens up pretty much like a book. So we'll just get that. Obviously, with this side here, make sure it is a little bit lifted up, because yes, it does open like a book, but there's bits that go into the side of the device, which if you don't lift up this side of the device too much, those legs will catch and it won't actually open up properly. But there we go. So that's the device. You will see some bit of the adhesive string across. You can just remove that. Alright, so now we need to unplug the battery. That's the first thing you do pretty much when you get into any device. So first off, you need to allocate the battery. So on these, if you follow the battery around, you'll see it's got a little bit that goes down to here, and that will be where the battery is. So we'll undo these 4 screws. These screws are different sizes as well, so make sure when you put them in your sorting tray that they go in an order that you can put them back in the same way. And so once that's taken off, you can lift that plate up, it'll come out, and then we can allocate the battery, which is right there. You can use your nails, or you can use the spudger and just gently get underneath it and pop it up. And that'll be your battery disconnected. Once the battery is disconnected, we need to disconnect the screen itself. So you'll need to remove the 3 screws over here. And then we can remove the plate of that. Once that's done, we can remove the actual screen itself, or the connectors for the screen. So you've got this one here, and you use the spudger for them. Pop that one up. Pop that one up. And then it's the second one in. You need to pop that one up, because that'll be for the front camera itself. And this is adhesive at the bottom of it, so when you're lifting it up, just be a little bit gentle in lifting that up, like so. Once that's done, you can pull the screen off. It'll come with all this little bit of adhesive, but we'll end up removing that anyway. Alright, so you can put the phone to one side now. And now we've got the screen. So with the screens, they're fairly simple to do. The only thing you need to do is take off pretty much the top part of the screen. So what this top part consists of is the earpiece, your second loudspeaker, and some of the front mic, and I believe the ambient light sensor. So we'll take off, it's got 3 screws, we'll take off all 3 of those. So once those are all done, you can lift up the loudspeaker. As you can see, it kind of folds back to you. You don't want to just pull it straight up because it's actually attached there. So what we need to do now is we need to lift up the little bits that are actually attached to the screen itself. So for this one, it's got a little bit, focus on that, a little bit right there. Don't go in too deep, just go in enough so you can catch the actual part and pull it up. And I'll pull up the whole part. And then for the other two bits that are attached, which will be that little mic there and that part there, we just need to get underneath it and lift it up. So when going underneath, make sure you go under this whole entire cable. So make sure you go underneath the whole entire cable there, and don't hit any wires, obviously being very careful and very gentle. Just start slightly tilting the isosimo just to give it a little bit of wiggle room, just to lift it up. And you'll see it eventually just pop out. So once that pops out, put that one to one side. There we go. Right, so once that's done, we'll put that to one side. Right, so once that's done, we'll grab the new screen and then we'll just peel off all the blue covers on it. Once the blue covers are peeled off, we'll need to then put the front loudspeaker back in. So pretty much goes in exact same way it came out. You'll just pop it straight on the top and straight back in. And they pretty much only go in one way, so just kind of line it up and it'll have all the grooves cut out for it. So you just pop it straight in there. As long as the top one goes in, the other two will sit exactly where they need to be. Once that's done, we'll put the loudspeaker back on the top of it. And then we'll screw that back into place. There we go. Once I screw back into place, it'll look like that. Right, so now what we'll need to do is we can put that screen aside for now. We need to get the rear, and we actually need to remove all the adhesive around it. So with that, you can pretty much grab your tweezers. We'll just go around the side and just peel them all off. Pretty much just doing this, it makes it all nice and clean, so we can apply new adhesive to it, and it looks all pretty much factory fresh. Right, so once all that adhesive is off, we can then layer some new adhesive. So we'll grab the new adhesive and just peel the back off it. Right, so the adhesive pretty much only goes in one way, so we'll have the cutouts for the front camera. So we put down one corner first, line up the other corner, and then it pretty much all goes down. Once it's down, we'll get some tweezers, go over it again, just to make sure it sits in place, and when I lift it up, it doesn't come off. Like so. Alright, once that's done, we'll then peel off the top layer, and it'll kind of leave a blue layer all the way around. So that blue layer all the way around is just so you, when you're putting it on the screen, you don't end up touching the adhesive and then pulling it off. So once that's done, we'll then get this new screen and we'll just start plugging it in. So plug in the top one first, and then we'll plug in the other two. Once that's done, you can plug in the battery as well. And then we'll put all the brackets back over the top and screw them back into place. There we go, and then we'll do the other one as well. So like I say, make sure all these screws go back into the same place they came out, as you could end up doing more damage if they go into different holes. And this is the last one. Right, so once all that's done, what we'll do is we'll switch the phone back on, just making sure it does work again. So we'll just wait until it boots up. There we go. So as you can see, that's the screen all good and working again. Brilliant. So I'll turn that off again. We'll put it back down. We'll seal it up. So we'll just take off all the blue shield around. Make sure it doesn't lift up when you're peeling off the blue. There we go. And then we'll put it back down. So putting it back down, push the top in first. And then we'll need to come to the right hand side of the phone so we can see the cable which is there. So you just want to kind of move the cable out of the way, just so when you're pushing down the phone it doesn't get caught in between the screen and the rear. Once that's out of the way, I'll just push it all down, and there we go. That's back and all working. So last thing you need to do is just put in the 2 bottom screws. Once the 2 bottom screws are in, we'll turn the device back on. Right, so there we go, that's done. So one of the main reasons why I turn the device on before I put the screen down is, like I said, you've got those cables on the side there. So if we test the phone before putting it down and we know it works, then when we put it down and it doesn't work, it'll probably be down to those cables being trapped in the actual frame and the screen. So I kind of just test that before just to make sure. But there we go, so that's all good, and it is all working again. There we go. So that is the iPhone XS Max with a new screen on it. Right, there we go. So that was a quick little tutorial on how to replace the iPhone XS Max screen. Obviously everything that we used, we'll have Amazon links for most of the stuff down below. Obviously if you like the video, if you want to know anything about the repair itself or anything else in general, feel free to comment down below, and like the video if you like the repair itself. Right, thank you very much guys, and I'll see you in the next tutorial video.